What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Fisker. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out associated to the company, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Friday, it did go up 24.4%. And based off of no fundamental news whatsoever, there was a couple of 8Ks that came out on the Thursday and the Wednesday that I'm going to kind of summarize for you. But aside from that, there hasn't been any recent official news. There was this that did come out. So 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗛 did a second review video, and Adam on Twitter does kind of summarize it very well. The fact that he kind of felt compelled probably to do a second video just for legal obligations, just to kind of say, hey, you know what? It wasn't me that caused all of this crap. And which I think is fair to assume, anyone logically just looking at the bigger picture, it wasn't necessarily just one review that would have done all this. It was behind the scenes that a lot of investors wouldn't really be privy to. But beside the point, this definitely was new information. And I just wanted to give you a quick overview of some of the 8Ks that did come out. And again, that might have led to it going up on Friday and shorts possibly closing out about 9.3 million shares based off of no fundamental news. So kind of interesting aspect when it comes down to that. A lot of people on social media are still saying that Fisker is a squeeze play. I kind of beg to differ, especially based off of the 8Ks that did come out, one of which that does signal right here that I guess between Fisker and that investor, the 2026 notes is somewhat getting worked out. And I think that's kind of a good thing. It is temporary though. And if Fisker does default once again or fail to kind of make the necessary payments, it goes over all the, I think 4 or 5 points. They do have to pay $500,000, but it does kind of allude to one thing. And so ultimately there's 25 pages in here. So you only have to really read the third page. Of course, if you want to dive deep into it, you can go a little bit deeper, but this right here is very important. 2026 notes trustee, as I have said in the past. So it does look like they have gone through the restructuring, which based off of, I think, the 8K that came out on the 3rd, I believe it was. So ultimately in here says that they are looking through, I guess, alternate plans. They did engage with Deutsche Bank and PJT Partners. And so ultimately it does look like they are going through the restructuring. So most likely you will see something probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, just a full-on announcement whether it did work, because even though a company does want to restructure a lot of its debt and work towards bigger and better things, creditors might not really be willing to do that. They might just want to cut their losses, take for whatever of the assets that is available, just to kind of divvy that up as is. So again, there's a lot of moving parts right now, but the fact that the notes right here does say notes trustee, it does allude that they are actually going through the full restructuring. So again, I've kind of don't really like how Fisker's playing all this. They're not transparent by any means, especially considering that whole rumor of bankruptcy, because bankruptcy doesn't have to be chapter 7, right? It could be chapter 11, basically what they are doing right now. So they are under the bankruptcy umbrella, but Heinrich came out and said, you know what? No, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. We engage with multiple different parties on a regular day-to-day business. So he straight up lied to investors. I do not like that. Same with this, like a lot of their PR, it just doesn't make sense. And so they're acting like investors are dumb, and the fact that they can't read between the lines. So they are currently going through the restructuring process, despite it saying in here, saying that they'll be looking at, I guess, such alternatives may include in or out court restructuring, capital market transactions. It's very, I don't know. I feel like this is just more fluff, just them covering their asses, saying that it could be anything. We are going to be doing anything possible for the foreseeable future. Whereas they could just outright say, you know what? We are being restructured. We're currently working with the 2026 parties for that note, and this is what we are doing for the foreseeable future. It's just too much legal jargon just to protect their ass. No different maybe than this guy right here, 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗛, doing a second video just to cover his own ass. So in reality, these 8Ks are somewhat optimistic. It shows that they're moving towards the right direction, but it still does not mean that they are out of harm's way. The market just clearly wants some hope, and this is why it has been kind of hovering around that 2 cent mark. I'll go over some of the support and resistance points in a second, but again, these 8Ks have been coming out. I feel like they could be a little bit more transparent. So there was 2 that came out on the 4th and then 1 on the 3rd. So let me know your thoughts on that. And then I guess on the flip side, one positive thing out of all of this, they haven't really announced it, but if you do go under Fisker's website, which it kind of looks like they've done more of a revamp a little bit behind the scenes, but they are hiring. So if you do go under the careers, it looks like 2 days ago they did post a senior accountant position, and then the other one was 30 plus days ago. So that probably isn't really that beneficial for this kind of point, but senior accountant, why would they be going belly up and hiring at the same time? So it just doesn't logically make sense. So in my opinion, I see this kind of as an optimistic viewpoint. So who knows? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But as of late, there hasn't been really any institutions getting into Fisker on the long haul. Dark pool has been very active, and even looking right here, so with it at just over about 2 cents, it is exactly between this S1 and the pivot. So on Friday, it did bounce off of this general area of this S1 as it did over the last couple of days, still breaking below that, but it keeps getting dragged back in. And on Friday, it was shorts. Shorts was that X factor causing it to go higher. So I think in reality, a lot of people are still looking for what the true intrinsic value of Fisker is. And still, like I said, I think there is a certain level of hope that people really do want Fisker to succeed. Just this is like the 9th inning, if baseball is your thing or whatever. Like, this is like the last straw. As I said in my last video, I do feel, based off of everything, if they were to liquidate absolutely every aspect that they could imaginable, they basically have 2 months minus a couple weeks now. So in reality, like, they do need to get their shit together very fast, and as well, they need everyone to work and play ball as well. So they definitely, it's kind of like a very interesting scenario. I do disagree with a lot of people though, saying that this is a short squeeze play. Even if they were to get to, I guess, a normal status, like, and somehow regulate their expenses and everything like that, still is no reason for shorts to kind of close out the position. So let's say it does regulate and it does go back to where it previously was, maybe around 25 cents, give or take. That's being very optimistic, mind you. Like, shorts, why would shorts return some shares? Like, Fisker is still burning through quite a lot of cash, and it's just a lot of people just, I feel like, throw out the short squeeze a little bit too common. And I did call out a couple of people, probably said some names that I didn't mean to. I think I said trash, but my apologies on that. But I think regardless though, Fisker definitely is, like, the risk versus reward is very interesting. Of course, like I said, it is right down to the wire, but there is still some hope. And so essentially, if they do somehow work out their notes and they do fully restructure successfully, then yes, this is where it could go up pretty significantly. But no matter what, you guys do your own due diligence. At the end of the day, I am definitely not a financial advisor. I just like to analyze information. I found it very interesting over this last week and a half, there has been 2 days that shorts just abnormally returned some shares. So I don't know if they are privy to some other information behind the scenes, or maybe they're hearing some chatter. I'm not sure. But clearly by them returning, it does show that they might feel like there is some upside. But let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying Fisker over this last little bit? Have you been selling? What's your thoughts on Fisker? One final thing I just wanted to share with you. Take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and they do give you 7 fractional shares of the Mag 7. Total value of roughly about $35. So that is a pretty good return on investment for just throwing $100 at a new account. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.